Okay, guys, so this is round six of the Chicago Open of this year. I played this like last month. So round six, right? So this is basically coming off round five with Into the Deep. Hopefully you caught that video, round five. If you haven't, make sure y'all watch the YouTube video for that. With the Scandinavian, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel here too. Catch all the rest of the content. So here we go, right? What was my total score? I finished 50%. 50%. Yo, Kaio, thanks for the 5-piece coming in right time, right when we start. Appreciate it, bro. Thanks for the 5-piece. Shout out to Kaio in the chat, y'all. Get some hype for Kaio. Appreciate that other five, another 5, 10 from him today. So Chicago Open, this round 6, right? Round 6, Chicago Open, and this round I'm playing a kid, an FM kid. I mean, he's like 12, but still a kid, right? But FM, he's a FIDE master, so he's strong and he's young. His name's Liam Putnam. Right there, you can actually check him out. Very strong kid, right? And okay, so here we go, right? And 15 minutes before the round, you always get your pairings. So I got the pairings. I'm going to watch, or I'm going upstairs, right? I do my thing. I see what he play. I'm like, oh, this what he played, this what he played. So I'm like, okay, you know what? This what I'm going to try to play this time, you know, because I always do my research. I see what they play. I see what they like to play and what they don't, right? So you only really have 15 minutes to prep, so you don't have that much. But you do have a general idea of what kind of game you're about to get in before you get down there. So I get that. Okay, cool, bam, good to go. Right, so now I go to the board. I'll show up a little bit late every round I was doing this so I can get the extra time to prep. Team now 1GG, thanks, bro. Appreciate it. RCA says kids RCA and chess. Yeah. All right, so all right. So I'm playing him, right? He got white pieces, Liam Putnam, and I see what he plays. Blunder go was good. I see what he plays, right? And here, the title of this one is Stop Hitting Yourself. That's the name of this analysis. Today's analysis is Stop Hitting Yourself. Let's see why it's called that. So, white played d4. I play knight f6. He goes c4. I go g6. This is the regular, right? So, of course, I'm Grunfeld shorty these days, right? I'm liking my Grunfeld. First, I didn't like it because I had this stupid draw, but I learned that there's different ways around that. So I don't actually have to go into those draw type positions and lines anymore. And I know that. So I'm like, okay, cool. I'm good to go. Right. And before this, I went into this game with the mindset that I'm going to play this instead of this because I just want to more of a fighting game and I want to fight him and things like that. So I say that to say he went knight c3. I go bishop g7, which is the same stuff in the Grunfeld and the King's Indian. I was a King's Indian defense player at first, then working with my coaches and just starting to see more and doing more analysis and understanding chess more. You start to see that the King's Indian defense is less played more in the open section and where the big dogs play. You see less of it because there's a legit reason, and you see more of the Grunfeld because, again, a legit reason. It's just better to play the Grunfeld. Now, e4, right? Because bishop g7, I can play d5 right here and go to the Grunfeld. That's what stops e4. But in fact, I went bishop g7. So in the same tournament, I played King's Indian and Grunfeld in the same tournament. I'm like, all right, cool. And here, I wanted to play King's Indian defense here. I just wanted to. Not that I had to, not that I even should have, but I played it. And the reason being is like I just wanted more of a fighting game. And weirdly enough, I went into a King's Indian where I already knew that, from the analysis I looked at, the prep I did before I got down, that I didn't like the positions that he played in the King's Indian. So it baffles me that I still did it anyway, but let's get into the game. So I go bishop g7, he goes d6. After d6, he goes knight f3, castles, bishop e2. This is all theory. And for anyone that is a King's Indian person, and I highly recommend it for anyone that is not playing in the open section, any other section, even under 2300, you can play this. I mean, you could all the time, as much as you want to here. But in my personal experience, the stronger that you get in the open section, it's very difficult to play this with great success with the black pieces. So here, though, I do have a good video on YouTube. You guys can check that of the King's Indian defense and you can definitely check that, how to play the King's Indian defense. So that's in there too. But here, quick starter guide, I got all that. I play e5. I know this stuff, all right? I know what he plays too as well. He doesn't play any of the e takes d4 or the d5 lines. In fact, he plays something completely different, which is one of the hardest lines to face in the King's Indian. In fact, it is called the Gligoric or Gligoric. Gligoric, right? Gligoric, or Gligoric, something, right? But it's Gligoric. We're just gonna call it that because that's what it looks like as it's spelled out. Gligoric system. This one here is very difficult to play against. It's an extremely difficult one. It does not say anything about your hand is white. In a way it does, but you have many setups. You can go h3, g4. You can go h4. You can go queen d2, which is usually something you want to do. You can even sometimes weirdly go knight to d2. But generally speaking, you go like h3. If knight g4, you go bishop g5, h6. It's a strange one. Very, very strange one in these situations. Also, if pawn takes, there's some other things that happens too. So, you know, you go back draw. Yeah, you could. That could be knight g4. You go back draw, right? Yeah, bishop e3. Bishop e3 is a weird one. And knight g4. In fact, let me actually show you. I didn't go knight g4, but this is the old stuff. Thanks for the follow, David Smash. After knight g4, there's bishop g5 hitting the queen. Then f6, bishop h4, and usually you can go h5 here, which is what I've seen before in some really, really cutting edge theory. h5 is a move, and then after h3 you go knight h6. But look at how all your pawns looking all crazy out here. Like, this is insane. But of course you do need to be very accurate. So you usually go knight h6 with knight h7, queen e8 to get out of the way. You play g5 and f5 eventually. Sometimes you even play knight to c6, not worry about it, still play g5. This is nuts, my guy. You know, I spent a lot of time here in these openings. I do this for every opening I played, but this is some nuts stuff, like straight facts. So I don't play this. I didn't like this. I didn't have good success with it. What I did like, though, is the one that, of course, even the stronger players play. If you even look at Timur Rajabov, his games, he got a lot of King's Indian games, and I used to study them a lot. In fact, the games that I should have studied before this round was actually his when it comes to his Gligoric games, because these games, he has a lot in there, and he played them with precision. In fact, one of the this line in particular is one of the lines that was the hardest and the most uncomfortable for me, studying wise. When I was studying, I hated studying this one. I just hated doing it. It wasn't as much activity as you want. It's more positional and boring, and I didn't like it as much, to be honest. It feels like black's underdeveloped. Yeah, right. This is what you want. Yeah, you have to be careful, right? You have to be very careful in the King's Indian here, and you got to know what you're doing. So I like the he takes d4 lines, because these transpose. That's what I did. I took on d4. These transpose many times into the main lines without the bishop on e3 and the bishop on e2, and you castling. And instead of you going for the original King's Indian stuff with f5, h6, g5, you actually take on d4, play rook e8, c6, and d5. That's the whole plan here. Open up the game a little bit, get the bishop very active. It's fun. It's fun to play, but in particular, the Gligoric is still something we hate to play against. E takes d4, knight takes d4, rook e8, f3, c6. This is the plan. Like we say, we want to play c6 and d5. And here, there's many times where I've had a lot of good games with this d5 move coming. But this is the one that I actually saw him in my pre-game analysis before I got here. I saw that he played this move, which actually I don't remember too much. And I'm like, bishop f2. I don't remember that one. He just gets off the... You get a lot of counterplay with this bishop being right here. So if you play this with the white pieces, this is something that you can implement against King's Indian players, because this is a very, very complicated, complex, difficult line to play. Especially for black. d5 is going to be real hard. Yeah. But actually, it's easy to break. You also sometimes sacrifice it, and you can play knight d7, knight b6. You sacrifice it for play, queen b6, open this up, knight h5, knight f4. There's lots of ideas here. So after bishop f2, I go d5, right, and then takes, and castles, and then knight c6. So of course, you guys are gonna get in on this in a minute, chat. So pay attention here. c5 is on the board. This is not natural, but one of the positions that happen the most in this position, or in this variation, the Gligoric. This is called the Gligoric variation. So here, this happens a lot. It's black to move, y'all. What are we going to do here? What are we going to do here? Black to move. Let's get some answers in the chat. What do you do now? c5. This is more of a space grabbing move, and also keeping the d5 pawn isolated. You're looking excellent here somehow. Yeah, it's pretty equal, pretty straight. Queen a5, we got b6, we got b6. Okay, I don't know how two people are, I guess, hey man, it happens, right? You see somebody do it, you want to do it too as well. See somebody jump off the building, I guess you jump in too, because B6 is just face blockage, 100% premium, natural Cambodian. That's not a move, big fella. What are you doing with your life? Right? That's just not a move. Two people said B6 too. I got you, coach. B6. Take that back. Try again. 95. We got to take some D4. We have H5, Bishop D7, Queen E6, Queen E7. We got some 94s in there. 95 from Jingles. Bishop E6 from Mr. Rio. 97, King H8. I have still not seen the move. Wow. Wow. Look at that. Look at that. You want to play B6 if it's not dropping knight, correct. 97, it wasn't me. King knight takes D4. Queen A5. A6. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna take a few more answers here. H5. Knight D7, knight H5. Here it is. Here it is. In fact, what I learned from the theory that I have was actually playing this move here. Bishop F8. Bishop F8 attacks this pawn. Now you can't take it right now, because if you do, you actually hang your bishop due to knight takes C6 and the bishop being exposed and undefended. So the whole idea is actually attacking this pawn. And then a lot of times you can actually put the rook over to C8. KK Detroit, hey, what's going on? Hey, you must be from Detroit. Shout out Detroit fam here if you are KK Detroit. What up, though? We in here. Yo, that's what. Yeah, rook E8, right? So bishop, that's what, and rook E8 helps with the file, but bishop F8 is something real. Well, now we hitting C5. What's up, big? What's good? Queen D6. Okay, face blockage. Absolutely. Go ahead with your bad self. Backward moves are hard to find. Yes. So bishop F8 on the board. He goes bishop B5, which I'm like, oh, I've seen this before, or at least variations of this position. So bishop B5, again, is back on you, chat. After bishop B5, how do you respond? Pretty simple. We probably only got a few moves here that you can consider. So let's see what you got. Bishop B5, we got knight D to B. Or knight D to B5. Okay, bishop D7 from Agumo. A6 from Phantom Master Gligoric. Bishop D7. Oh, he should have played knight D to B5. You're not looking good. Knight D to B actually doesn't. I got A6, right? And knight D6 wouldn't help because I do have the bishop covering the square. A6, we got bishop D7. Knight B4 from Reggie to bomb. Well, knight B4, Reggie, actually is just blocking with your face. 100%. Yeah, you are just getting the rook snatched off the board there, and you might as well just get up, shake his hand, sign the score sheet, walk out. Very fast, say nothing to anyone. Very fast, go back to your room. Bishop B5, it's actually, here we go, very simple, guys. Bishop D7, develop and defend at the same time. Now here, these are very, very hard variations, and I say that because there's like knight H5, and the move order has to be right. That's the problem here. Yeah, right. I know, Reggie, right? I know. Straight up. What's up, Master? What's good? What's up, bro? So what happens though? Oh, Reggie, yeah, it's very sensitive, I guess. So, but I saw your message though. So knight H5, Queen F6, Bishop G7, Knight F4, Rook D8. These are all moves that happen like interchangeably, and it's hard to remember that sometimes. And this is definitely a very complex position and opening, especially when you're facing the Gligoric system. Not the best. Yo, TBA, appreciate you, bro. Thanks for the 8 months. 8 months right there. Indo Queen, what's up, girl? As just convinced you to sub. Let's go, the bomb. Hey, man, appreciate that. I did not get that sub alert. Maybe refresh. USCF? I don't even know, bro. I didn't even check. But he's FM, though. He's a FIA master, so that boy titled. Young dog titled out here. But Bishop D7 as the move. So he takes on C6. I take back, which is all usually theory as well. Now, again, there we go. Yeah, see? Yeah, that's what I was talking about right there. Thanks, Brom. Thanks for the prime, bro. Appreciate that. You can only use that at one channel. I appreciate that prime, man. Knight H5, Bishop G7, Queen F6, Knight F4. These are all the plans, which I kind of should have went for, to be honest. These are plans that I kind of should have went for here, which I think I kind of did, but we'll see, right? So he plays B4. He plays B4, and then black to move. Again, this is on you guys. This is always how we do our analysis here. It's on you to choose, and we talk about if it's correct or not based off of course, the game. B4 is on the board. What would you play and where do you go? And I'll tell you where I moved in this game. Let me see what the engine's options are. Okay, cool. Grindy Boy, thanks for the follow. Cosmos 2007, thanks for the follow. I noticed when you bishop f8, you can't take a, but bishop takes f2 is with check. Well, actually, oh, you're right. Actually, you're right there. I gotta think about that. You're actually right. Bishop takes c5, knight takes c6, bishop takes f2 is with check. Look at that. But usually that's not the situation. Usually that's not the situation. And that is that's a pawn you don't take usually until you're ready. So I do remember that, but that's right though in that position. That's correct. This turning into both sides had the mentality and comfort zone is not typical. Yeah, this is a harder King's Indian. Queen c7 to prepare to double stack. Bishop c8 rerouting. Bishop's trash. Okay. Yeah, if bishop c8, bishop a6, knight c6 is coming. You're in trouble. That's right. Is it too late? Depends on where you are, Evox, on where you are rating wise. Finchetto a bishop to first or eighth. Rook b8. All right. So I did choose one of the engine's options here. In fact, the engine options are a5, knight h5, and queen c7. Nice stuff. Beginner, yeah, it's gonna be tough, bro. I mean, it depends on how much time you put in. It's literally about time. You know, don't let other people tell you what you can and cannot do, but at the same time, you have to how much time and or how relative is it? Like, are you realistic? How are you working? Are you doing the right type of work, and etc. It is a lot to it. Knight h5 though. Knight h5 was the move I chose in this on the game with the ideas of like knight f4 and bishop back to g7. Now, right now, zeros. Engine says is zeros. You just don't know how. Yeah, bro. Just get affiliated right there. Check the links in the chat, bro. Knight h5, a5 looks good. Yeah, a5. I chose knight h5 because I remember this. Queen f6, bishop g7, knight f4, stuff like that. Thanks, yeah, no problem. Right, so he plays queen d2 and stops me. Now here, I had a move in mind that I should have played, that I should have just kind of stuck to the plan. I should have just kind of stuck to the plan, bro, to be honest. And the title of this, again, the title of this video was Stop Hitting Yourself, okay? Stop hitting yourself. That's the title of the video. Right, now, and I'm telling you why. We haven't got to that part yet on even why it's titled this. But, right. Okay, white to move or black to move. Queen d2's on the board. Where do you go now? Oh, where do you go now? It's black to move. Dante, you just got to see. You have to see and find out, man. This is a very wild game. I will say that. Wild. Some definitely some strangeness going on here. Knight f4. That's very strange, Agu. That's very strange. You can just start a new game. Knight f4. Queen takes f4. Ouch. Yeah, stop hitting yourself. That's right. Go stop hitting yourself. Knight g7, queen c7, rook to b8. Rook to b8. Okay. Queen c7. Thanks for the follow, brother. Appreciate it, brother. 1155. a5. All right, so here it is. Actually, I'll give you the engine moves. Queen f6, which is one of my first choices. I don't know why I didn't go here. Didn't go there. But that was one of my choices. And I've done this many times in blitz games, like having the Gligoric kind of systems. I literally have put the queen on f6 many times and played knight f4. But here, though, I did not. Rook e5. Rook e5 is a little strange. I guess you're trying to rook lift, but I think it's too exposed on the e5 square. a5, I wasn't like, I don't remember if this one was right yet. There was like, remember, like there's so much theory sometimes of studying, and this one, especially when you don't like to play something so much or play against something so much, you don't study it as much. Gligoric was one of those. It was first off rare. I didn't see it a lot. Number two, I didn't like studying against it that much. And number three, there was a lot of lines. Like there are some a5s, but you got to know when to play a5. There's because the bishop's on c2, you play a5, or because the king is on h1 on move 5 and not on move 7, then you go queen f6. Like, it's stupid stuff like that in your theory that you have to remember sometimes, and it's very, very stupid. And a lot of times, with that being said, though, that's why you do have to have understanding as well. But even understanding of the position, still there's many options you can go. a5, queen c7, queen f6. What's the best plan? And here I tried to be a little bit creative here, and I had a different plan in mind. So what I chose here was a strange one, kind of creative, but also very strange. I played bishop to e7. The engine thinks this is equal still. It didn't change it, but the reason for bishop e7, a lot of times what I do remember in Gligoric theory, what you'll see a lot is removing this bishop from like this in a circle sometimes going bishop g5, in some cases hit the queen, bishop f6, but the idea here is to bring the knight back to g7 and play knight f5 and have the bishops point this way. And then you can play a5 and attack on this side just like this. This is a usual plan you would see. So I'll play bishop e7. I'm like, all right, cool. Maybe I might even have bishop h4 in store as well. Like, I don't know. I'm just going to stay flexible. Bishop e7, right? I go bishop e7. He goes rook after e1. I'm like, okay, cool. Maybe I should play. And here, this is where I sat and thought for a while. I thought for a while. And I was like, not even for a while, but like enough time. Maybe like 10, 15 minutes, to be honest. And the reason for this was there's a lot of moves. Bishop f6, bishop g5, like, you know, where do I go? And bishop g5, I can always, you know, take back with the bishop here. Do I go knight g7? Like, it was very cramped. And believe it or not, of course, here is still equal. Engine gives a5, rook b8, queen c7, right? All these moves. For me, I was also contemplating, is he going to play b5? And I think I got kind of caught up here in this thought of him playing b5, because it felt like if b5, if he shakes this one's going to kind of hang. It's kind of strange, but c5 is hanging. But then what? Like, there was too many possibilities, and I kind of got into tunnel vision here on an idea that basically sometimes you'll say this as they say this in chess terms, that you're seeing a ghost. You're seeing a ghost here, right? Yeah, for b5 was looking kind of scary. And as soon as I made this move here, I was like, what am I doing? Stop hitting yourself. And the reason for this, watch this. What engine depth do you use? I mean, usually I'm not doing 2700 prep. I mean, I can, I like to work with some work like that, but I'm not about to, oh, my depth's 50. Depth fit, like, bro, I'm good. I can beat 2600 and like GMs, you know, here online and have good tournaments with the depth that is on chess.com. I have no desire to do it any higher unless like I'm doing some prep for a book or something. It's very rare where I like put the depth up very, very high. Yeah, because there's, you know, there's the cloud for that too. They do it for you. It's tough. I just like to do the study part. I put in the work. What happened to sack segmate? I mean, how? What am I sacking? Bishop takes c5, Mr. Rio? You know, that's not working. That's not a move, right? Here's the move. This is what I did. I played a6. And then when I played this move, I was like, bro, that was so gross. And I was like, how did I get here, right? How did I get here? And this is why, again, now this is the part of the video where I tell you the title. Why is it called Stop Hitting Yourself? My record with the King's Indian defense in the open section over 6 games in the last 2 years is 4 losses and 2 wins. That is not going to cut it. That's not going to do it. That's not going to work. So after doing research, after talking to my coaches, after working and like looking around and watching games and figuring things out and looking at GM games in the open section, bro, the King's Indian is going to be the hardest thing you ever face in your absolute life if you're in the open section trying to fight these big dogs. It just ain't going to work, right? So then I had to make that switch and upgrade and actually, what did they say? Graduate. It's what me and my coach say. We had to graduate into the Grunfeld. But in the meantime, you can use King's Indian for life up until the open section. So with that being said, you know, it's very difficult to play. It's very complex. A6 is just not a move, bro. But I got caught up on this B5 thing. And immediately everything goes downhill. So watch this. After A6, it looks good to me. So it's definitely not the move, my guy. You're funny, King Goose. Right. Oh, man. Oh, man. Yeah. I mean, right. Like A6. I'm so terrible. This move is just so terrible. It's like looking at it here is just so gross. It's just terrible. But I was so caught up on the idea of B5 because it was very annoying. It's very annoying to me because there are some like things what I was scared of, like if A5, B5, right? And then I was like, shoot, what do I do? Like if I take, he could take on D5. In fact, even right here, taking, the engine says he's completely winning after C6. I didn't even see that. That's a move I didn't even consider. right? But I mean, actually, I wasn't. In fact, no, I was considering taking this if b5 was going to be here. So that's not a move. In fact, bishop takes was better. And here, taking with check, yeah, that's there. But this just seemed kind of suspect. So I was like, let's just go a6 and stop everything. But exactly, blind bandit is dead on, right head on. b6 is a weak square. Now he played knight e4, and after knight e4, believe it or not, you know, it's not that bad. Oh, it feels gross, absolutely. I mean, looking at that's why you have two evaluations. One is a human, and one is the engine. You got to always have two evaluations. You should be thinking from a human standpoint, how does this look? But also, what does the engine say? As a human standpoint, this does not feel good. From the black side here, bishop feels pretty gross. My pieces aren't really moving much, not coordinated as much. But, I mean, it's not even more than, right now, the engine says the highest is plus 0.89. That's the highest they have for this position. So that's crazy. That's kind of nuts, right? But knight b6 is very annoying, and I fought, right? So I played knight g7. I still go with the plan. Whatever. He go knight b6. He all up in the crib now. So I go rook a7. He go a3. I'm like, man, I got to figure this out now. So I play knight e6. To just get this stuff off the board, we need to trade. Yeah, it's nasty. You got to go back earlier moves. Yeah, bro, like, correct, right? And this is why, you know, again, the title is Stop Hitting Yourself. I knew I was not supposed to go into this game really and play the King's Indian. I just was like, but something in me just said, do it anyway. Just play it. Just do it, right? Well, whatever. And then I got this position. And then I thought to myself, you know, you got to stop hitting yourself. That's exactly what it is. You're just literally hitting yourself. Can you imagine that? Like, you just socking yourself as hard as you possibly can. You couldn't imagine that, right? But I'm doing that. That's what I was doing here, playing the King's Indian once again. So, what else do you expect? Why? So, I have to stop hitting myself with the King's Indian in the open section. It will never happen again. So knight takes d7, right? He takes on d7. And here, I was actually going to play queen takes d7. Watch Canty defend. Oh, man. Right. You were feeling yourself on can I do that? Yeah. I mean, no, actually, I wasn't feeling myself at all. In fact, I hated this position. Because the Gligoric is something I hate anyway. I hated playing against this one. This is one of the variations I didn't like too much. Don't after the game because when you saw what he plays, think you can learn in 15 minutes. No, but I've also had experience, and just because you have experience or have games in the Gligoric or whatever variation it is, doesn't mean that you even like it or you even play it well. And I do have variations where I've played against this many times, in fact, the Gligoric. But it's one that I don't like, number one. Number two, I don't study it as much. Number three is a lot of lines, a lot of nuances, because king's on h1 on move 5. You do this way. Or the bishop's on f2 on move 7. You have to do it this way because of blah, blah, blah. It's ridiculous. It really is. So this is one that I was kind of annoyed. And I also kind of knew that going into this. So I should have just chose the Grunfeld, which is what I did anyway. Earlier in the tournament, got a draw. No problem. You usually either want to draw with black and basically not lose. Usually so one of the greatest strategies is win with white and at very minimum draw with black. Right, because black is when you play with the black pieces, you do get the second move. You don't move first, so sometimes that's a disadvantage, especially if you don't know what you're doing or you play wrong, get bad position out the opening GG. So you do want to end with a draw, but you know, playing for imbalances, you can actually play for a win. So you do want to play it for a win with both colors, but definitely usually win with white, at least draw with black. So here, I should have played Grunfeld, but I played the King's Indian defense. And again, that's why this is called Stop Hitting Yourself. Right. Thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. This man Canty so refreshing. Thanks, bro. Appreciate you, my guy. Queen takes d7 is the move. Right. It's kind of hard to keep track of who had initiative in this game. No, white definitely had initiative. Oh, straight facts for real stirs. Yeah, he had it. He had it, bro. So here, what I saw queen takes d7, but I just wanted, you know, I did not calculate. I calculated a little bit, but I didn't calculate it all the way through. Because I was kind of mad at the fact that I just allowed this to happen. So I took on d4, which is completely losing, by the way, which I kind of knew. I was like, this probably don't work. That's what I said. But I was like, well, whatever. This game is gross anyway. And I should have just took on d7. You know, she keep fighting here, but I was definitely frustrated and kind of pissed at this point. But this game is honestly still, I mean, look how playable this is. This is very playable still. But look at, I mean, like he's just dominating the board. Like, what am I doing? I'm just moving around, shuffling, hoping for a draw. What? No, that ain't gonna be. That's not how I play. Like, I can't do anything. My best move is back this bishop up where it was already. And then probably go here, which he's never going to take. This is this dark square domination in a way. Even after taking, like, this rook is gross. A5, never going to probably work. I'm just a sitting duck. But the engine says, oh, you straight, bro. Oh, you straight, you equal. Like I say, it's 0.42 right here. This is why you need literally the 2 evaluations. The engine's like, bro, you straight. You straight, bro. It's equal. That's exactly what the engine says. You know. 0.42 is about equal. I mean, just so you know. Like, are you good, bro? But as a human here, this is absolutely gross. Put the bishop on f6 before the knight moves for the really good. Yeah, you're going to be world open, not this one. Thanks for the follow. Just win, right? Just win, bro. You got it. Come on, big dog. You got it. It's +3. Bro, where, right? Like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? Sometimes you just have to literally disregard the engine. Literally, you have to do that. I tell my students this a lot. Straight up. This is not what you look for in a King's India. Straight up. Facts. So I learned, and again, stop hitting yourself. I ain't playing this no more LTB. I'm not. I promise you, I will be playing the Grunfeld. Or, of course, maybe Semi-Slav, especially when I'm playing players that may know, or did I play Kings or play Grunfeld. You know, I'll be playing more Semi-Slav, fighting for more stuff there. I got some material there. And, you know, very, 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 very rarely a Queen's Indian or a Dutch. Classical Dutch. Simon Williams. Shout out to big fella. Psychology. This is gross. The engine looks stupid saying it's equal. Straight up. Engine, bro, you're equal, bro. You straight. I promise you, bro. I promise you good. Like, where, man? Stop lying to me. Not even like Blitz LTV. Yeah. Thanks for the follow, Conscious Chess and Seizures. Thanks for the follow. Right. So this didn't happen though. What I did was take on D4. And I was like, well, we're about to just take on D4 and hope for the best, right? You know, jumping off a building with a parachute that you hope works. I don't know. Maybe it worked. I don't know. I didn't check it. Like, I don't know. We about to see, though. Knight takes D4. And after knight takes D4, he would go knight E5, which was very strong. Now, of course, if he takes on D4, everything's all equal. Just a better version because I don't have the ugly E-pawn. If he takes, it's a better version of what we kind of looked at besides the pawn. Yeah, it's still ugly. Still not what I want, but at least the pawn structure feels a little bit better. And maybe I can just kind of shuffle around, maybe try to use the E file. But he had this nice in-between move, which I saw. I did see this, which is knight E5. And he did find it. And when he found knight E5, I was like, okay, cool. You got it. I'm like, all right, you got it. That's it. It's a wrap. I knew that knight E5 was going to be winning. I already kind of saw this. It was just like, you know, as a hunch, I didn't really calculate too much. I just knew that if he could back out, this probably ain't going to be too good. And that's exactly what happened. M Subject, yo, thanks for the Prime, bro. Thanks for the Prime. Appreciate you over here. That's what's up, man. You can only use Prime at one channel. I appreciate you, M Subject, for using it over here with us. So knight E5 though hits C6. So if I move my knight, he takes on C6, right? If I don't move the knight, he takes the knight. Pretty obvious. If bishop F6, looking cool, he just takes on D4. I'm down a piece. This does not work. Doubling doesn't work either. I mean, you just blocking with your whole face here. Come on now, this is a family channel. So let's just get that off the screen. So that don't work. So knight B3, only move, hit the queen. If he goes somewhere crazy, I might have a chance. But in fact, he found the best move, which I expected this anyway, which is queen to D1. Attacking the knight and the rook at the same time. And C6 is hanging still. So I don't have a choice but to take the rook, really. Of course, actually, no, I have bishop F6, which is what I tried. I tried bishop F6 first just to see if he was really going to do everything correctly here, and he did. He took on C6, hitting the queen. And then, of course, I have to move the queen, or take first, check. And then I moved the queen to attack the knight, which I probably should have went to another square, but I had to go somewhere. Yeah, queen A8. That's very hard to find. Queen A8. Queen A8 is the only move. That's like the best out of these. Even though these are still losing, this game is just a nightmare, straight up, right? It was just bad. It was a bad game. Queen A8 is not fun. So if queen A8 happens, and the reason why is because you need to cover this. And I didn't know that actually until, I mean, it's already losing anyway. But queen C7, he checked me first, defending the knight. So now, after he moves his rook, which he does, All right. Hey, this is it. And then knight d2, rook d1. And that's it. And then the rook's hanging. Can't move anything. Like, this is over. So queen a8 would have been able to save some of this. But who's playing queen a8, right? This is gross. Absolutely gross. So, of course, I resigned after that. I resigned after rook b1. Because I was like, yo, this is just gross, right? And then I thought to myself, why did I play the King's Indian, right? Why did I play the King's Indian? I'm just out here hitting myself. After knowingly that the King's Indian is a very tough opening to play in the open section, especially against the big dogs. You'd have played it 6 times over the board. You lost 4 times. You got 2 dubs. Why are you hitting yourself like this? In fact, this made the 6th game over the board. So I was like, that's it. That's a rapster. If you ever think I'm playing KID over the board, you got me all the way messed up. So I will be back to my Grunfeld. Right. And this was round 6. So of course, stick around for round 7, which is going to be tomorrow. So make sure you guys are here for that. Round 7 is going to be same way, right? But this was round 6 of the Chicago Open.